Okay, I think until last Friday we have studied about the entry supervisor's responsibilities. In the coming slides, you will be knowing about the attender and entrance and what are the requirements to prepare a permit, and in the permit, what are the things you should include while doing any confined space activities. Okay. The first thing is we'll study about this authorized entrance. Entrance is nothing but the worker or the person who is going inside the confined space to perform any activity. What's responsibilities he has to do? What is his responsibility while going inside or after going inside? He should be trained, and in some cases he should be medically fit. And trained is nothing but he should know what are the hazards involved in the confined space activity. Not even the confined space activity, whatever he will be doing, it might be inside the confined space, it might be work at height, it might be hot work activity, or it might be whatever activity he's going to perform, he should know. Apart from the confined space hazards, he should know his work hazards also, work related hazards, and what precautions he has to take while doing any activity. And while performing a confined space activity, he has to take more precautions because he's working inside a confined space. And what are the equipments? He has to use all the equipments, whatever the confined space requirements, and his work activity requirements, what equipments he has to do. Combinedly, he has to prepare all those equipments to use it while working inside. He should, but that's his responsibility to make sure that equipments are properly used while working inside the confined space, and he should be aware of all the hazards and what are the risks involved in the activities. He will be having a continuous trainings on that one. Not even here we have a topic about confined space, but apart from the confined space, he will be having his own responsibility regarding his work activity also. Both combinedly he should know. And what are the precautions has to be taken, he should know regarding those also. And to prevent those hazards and risks, he has to use some equipments. Well, it might be for working, it might be for safety also, for his safety purpose also. Those equipments should be used properly while working inside. 1 minute, guys. Sorry, guys. And after entering into the confined space, he should be continuously having a communication with the attender. Attender is nothing but one person is permanently posted or guard, or one person is permanently available at the entry point or the exit point. One person will be assigned permanently by the supervisor or the engineer to monitor all the entrants who are working inside. Is everyone can clear? Haven't can hear my voice clearly, right? If you have any problem, just let me know now itself.
Okay, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. And attender, as I told, attender is the only person, any person, he will be assigned permanently at the entry point or the exit point to have a communication who are working inside the confined space, just to have a monitor whether those the people working inside are safe or not. And his duties are in the coming slides, I'll let you know, but on outer look, I'll let you know what is the attender duties will be. He'll be having all the documents, and he'll be supporting the entrant persons with any help needed, like it might be ventilation or in any form of help it might be. He'll be helpful for that one, but he will be continuously available at the entry and exit point, and he'll be having a continuous communication with the entrance. The entrance means nothing but persons working inside the confined space. And uh, entrant, the persons working inside, the crew members will they have to have a communication, the reverse communication also with the attender. And in case of any emergencies or in case of any issues, he has to communicate immediately to the attender, in so that he will be alerting the rescue team or whatever it might be, the it might be the supervisor. He will alert the supervisor or the engineer or the rescue team, whatever it might be needed by the entrance based on the emergencies. And exit as quickly as possible. In case of any emergency, it might be health issue, it might be an work related emergency, it might be some emergencies like breathing health or some other work related issues. The crew members working inside the confined space should immediately exit the confined space through entry and exit points. And before exiting, anyhow, the entrant who is available inside, the persons who are available inside, they will directly inform to the attendant. Attendant will be informing to the superiors. It might be foreman, supervisor, or the engineer. And before exiting or after exiting, we will be communicating what the problem is. It might be the health issue, as I said, it might be the health issue or the work related emergencies. We have to uh, communicate to the supervisor, and we have to expose it. We have to make sure that the communication is properly communicated properly to the supervisor. And the entrant, the working crew should properly uh, detect the problem, whatever it might be, whatever the condition it might be. As they have said, detecting prohibited condition. It might be the health condition also, because see, in some situations, we'll be having some health issues. If it's a process plant, in the previous classes, I have told you, in the process plants, we'll be having an toxic gases or some chemical gases will be there, or it might be lack of oxygen levels. Based on that one, those comes under this one, health issues. And we have to, those conditions has to be properly communicated to the supervisor, so that they will be taking an immediate action or proper action to eliminate the hazards or eliminate the risk to again for the further work process to be continued. And in case of any alarm should be activated, the attender or the entrant will be activating the alarm based on the emergency. If it's a minor one, no need of that one. If alarm is activated, that means all the rescue team, the security, if the security team is needed, security safety team will be coming there, all the execution team will be coming there, even the medical emergency team, all the teams will be uh, getting their information. The information will be passed to all the teams, so that they will be assembling at the confined space activity where the emergency situation has occurred, so that in case rescue is needed, the rescue team will be rescuing the entrance, the workers working inside. If the after rescuing, if the medical team should attend, they will be having a checkup on the entrance. these all should be done, but alarms will be raised not based on the emergency, but based on the emergency also, but the emergency levels only, level of emergency, and alarm will be activated by the responsible person, not the entrance mainly. It might, if the attender is having a responsibility and he is aware of what the emergency is, if he has to activate or the alarm, he can activate. If he is not having a right to activate an alarm, he should just inform to the supervisor or the engineer or the concerned team person, so that they will raise the alarm. We have to make sure that the entrants are responsible for this one only. And the next one is the attenders. Attenders responsibilities we'll see. Same like this one. Attenders won't be going inside. They will be having a training regarding what are the things he has to maintain and what are his roles and responsibilities as an attender for the confined space. Here in you might be seeing this slide, but in this slide they have given space. I'll show you, but don't concentrate on this slide, okay? Just listen to my words only. The attender also should be aware of the all the hazards and symptoms and what are the effects. It might be behavior or the health effects, and what are the risks involved in the confined space activity and the work activity which will be carried out inside the confined space. He should also aware what are the things. Sorry guys, just Sorry, guys. Sorry, I have to attend an emergency call. That's the reason I couldn't continue. Okay. Regarding this attendance responsibilities, we will be knowing the person who will be available outside the entry and exit points. He should know the hazards, risk, and whatever emergency situations will be there. He should be aware of all these things. Those will be he will be knowing. After he'll be having a training and everything. He should be aware. That's a mandatory thing, and he should be his responsibility is that he should maintain a log sheet, so that in the logs, that log sheet will be indicating how many people will be going inside for the activity, and he should have a continuous monitoring on the log sheet as well as the air quality on a periodic basis, as well as the before going outside inside. Before going inside the confined space, he should monitor the air quality and toxic gases levels, and periodic also, and he should have a communication with the entrance on a periodic basis, but not a periodic basis, continuous communication he should have. And I'll be telling you how the continuous communication will be going on. It might be verbal or some other communication patterns will be there with that. And in the previous classes, I have told you that some posters, the emergency communication system flow chart or the emergency contact numbers should be displayed outside the entry exit points, so that in case of emergency they can directly call the authorized person, like a rescue team or the emergency team or the medical emergency team, or it might be the security reason, whatever it might be, they can follow. And the entrant, the attender who is available at the entry and exit point, he should not move from his place. So in some situations we can observe some situations, as we have seen that as soon as the entrants who are entering inside, they will be after entrants are going inside for the work activity, the attender will be going sideways, or he'll be moving away from his work location. But that should not be done. He should have a close monitor at the entry and exit points, and he should have a continuous communication with the entrance. And in case continuously, he too can't stay over there in case of going for a drinking water in as he has to take some water, or some he has to go for toilet or something. Some other person, some other attender has to be placed over there, or he should report to the supervisor or the engineer, so that the authorized person will be placed over there to replace him. And in case of emergency, like in the previous class also, I have told you that rescue and emergency services flowcharts and diagrams or the contact numbers will be displayed, and equipment should also be there, like pulley, rope, or it might be emergency equipment like rescue basket will be there. If crane is needed based on the height and everything, those will be available. In case of their utilization, he'll instruct or he will use those in case of emergency services, like there is rescue basket or the pulley with rope will be used when emergency occurs. And he is he is the only person responsible, main person responsible to restrict the unauthorized persons to going inside the confined space. No unauthorized, untrained, and minimum knowledge person are not allowed. Confined space entry will be only given to the properly trained person and experienced person only. Uh, you can see in this, they have given unauthorized persons are not allowed. Those he won't, because in some cases, not some cases, we have in some places like some companies or the some client requirement, they'll be issuing some cards for the confined space entrance or the attenders. After giving a training, they'll be issuing some ID card so that we can recognize whether he is qualified or not. Based on that, they will be allowing. Even the attender will be responsible after checking those IDs only. Non-entry rescue. Non-entry rescue is non-entry rescue. Non-entry rescue is nothing but this one. The attender who is outside, he will be informing in case of emergencies or in case of rescue needed. He will be informing the rescue team and the supervisor and the engineer. And rescue will be done from outside only. If the rescue should be done from inside, only the rescue team will be allowed inside. Apart from the rescue team, no one is allowed inside. That's the main thing. Non-entry rescue. Only the rescue team, because they are only the persons authorized to do rescue, as it might be after entering, or it might be from the outside also. But in case of rescue team is not available or they will be coming late, no one is allowed to go inside for the rescue person. That's the main reason non-entry rescue is there, and no other interfering duties. And attender won't be assigned with other duties except for this one. He will be permanently posted for this confined space activity only, to monitor the entry and exit points and to have a communication with the persons working inside. That's the roles of responsibilities of the attender. And for the entry permit to work in a confined space, what are the details or what are the things required to obtain a permit, to obtain a confined space permit? For that, confined space permit will be there, and in that confined space permit, we have to mention the location and purpose of entry. For what purpose will be going inside, what activity, what type of activity, and how many days we will be having the work will be carried out, how many days of work will be carried out. And as usual, in the permit will be mentioning the date and authorization. During permit authorization, it might be the client or the person who will be authorizing. And only see, as the responsibilities we have learned, only the authorized entrance and authorized attenders will be allowed. And name and signature of the entry supervisor, the supervisor or the engineer who is responsible for this for that confined space activity, he will be signing and he will be mentioning his name also. And in the permit itself, we have to mention, not not only we have to mention, we can attach a supporting documents specifying all the hazards and the precautions which will be applying for this confined space activity in case of emergencies. And isolation of hazard control measures. Before starting the activity, what are the actions we have taken to control the hazards? What are the precautions we have taken? We have to mention those. And only the permit, apart from the permit, will be having some supporting documents to which has to be done to start the confined space work activity, like acceptable work conditions. Acceptable work conditions is nothing but before starting any work activity like confined space. As the topic is confined space, we have to check whether the vessel or the confined space is safe to access, and the conditions, the inside conditions are safe or not. It's nothing but checking the air quality and whether the ventilation is proper or not, illumination is right, proper or not, proper illumination has been provided or not, and the surface condition is proper or not, whether it needs any scaffolding or any extra uh, things to be done, like if we have to do any work at height activity, scaffolding has to be constructed over there. And continuous monitoring, the gas monitoring initially, yeah, on the initial start, before the start, initially we have to do a gas monitoring test, and periodic atmosphere test should be done, just to check the air quality and toxic gases, LEL, yeah, UEL, upper explosive limit and lower explosive limit, we have to check. And the toxic gases or atmospheric gases are under control or not, we have to check. If not, we have to use sponging, or like proper ventilation should be supplied using duct fans or some other sources, and proper rescue and emergency equipment has been provided or not. In some cases, proper communications should be provided, communication systems, like not all the locations we can't go with a verbal communication or mobile communication. In some confined spaces, mobiles are also not allowed. In those situations, we can allow walkie talkies, the wireless communication, like walkie talkies will be allowed to have a proper communication with them. And some equipments, proper equipments should be required to go inside and work, like safety harness should be there. And if hot work is there, the precautions has to be taken. And for the rescue, lifeline rope pulley should be arranged for the rescue operations. And other, whatever the necessary information or permits are needed, we have to take care of that. To obtain a confined space work permit, we have to make sure all these are properly implemented or not. These are the things. Any doubts? Any doubts? Might be only 5 minutes is there. Sorry, I have stopped for in between. I have stopped for two times because I have to attend some emergency call. That's the reason. If you have any doubts regarding these entry permits or the attendant duties or the entrant duties, you can ask me. No doubts. Someone. Ramesh Patnaik. Ramesh, is it safe to is, is it safe to enter a confined space? On a whole, on overall situation, confined space is a very dangerous activity. In But it depends on the type of confined space also, because see, in confined spaces, so many types of confined spaces will be there, but that's also two different types will be there. Yeah, after using for the process, those confined space has been used for the process activity, or initial before you are commissioning. After commissioning and before commissioning is different, right? Before commissioning, somewhat it will be having less hazards compared with after commissioning, like after using in the processing plants. Before using in the processing, before activating using it, we'll be just installing and we'll be doing some whatever things has to be done to finish that confined space. It will be having less hazards, but end of the day overall confined space is a dangerous activity because no proper illumination will be there, no proper oxygen facility will be there, and after using in shutdowns will be having confined space activities. In those also will be so much of toxic or chemical gases will be there, will be available inside. We have to deal with each and everything. Flammable gases will be there. We confined space and overall confined space activity is a dangerous activity. For that case only, any entrance who will be going inside to work, he won't be permitted more than 20 minutes to work inside at a long stretch. At a long stretch, he can't work for more than 20 minutes. If 20 minutes is over, he has to come outside. Okay, Ramesh, if you have any doubt, you can unmute yourself and you can ask me. Anyone? Ramesh, your doubt has been cleared or not? Ajay, Prakash, Sunil, Teja, any doubts?
No, sir. ఇంకొక డౌట్ అడిగినట్టున్నారు రమేష్ గారు.
Yeah?
మినిమం కన్ఫైన్ స్పేస్ లో మినిమం ఆక్సిజన్ అనేది ఎంత లెవెల్లో ఉండాలనేది అడుగుతున్నారు
Okay.
రమేష్ గారు.
Minimum 19.5. Minimum 19.5. Minimum 19.5. Normally in the atmosphere, we'll be having around 21.5 or something will be having in the open atmosphere, but in the confined spaces the oxygen level should be between it should start from 19.5, but it should not be more than 23.5. If it's more than 23.5, it's also dangerous. Having more oxygen is also dangerous.
Okay, sir. Okay, cleared.
Anyone else? Okay.
నో సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Okay. Thumb rules for the lifeline signal. They have given some thumb rules, but in some cases they will follow, in some cases they won't follow. But I think not for the normal thumb rule, if we are working inside a confined space, anyone working inside a confined space will be having an normally will be having this one only, the verbal communication only. Verbal or if it's an fresh start of a confined space like construction phase, in the construction phase mobile phones are allowed inside. Okay, if it's an shutdown phase, only the walkie talkie will be allowed. In those only the communication will be having. But here they have given some attended to entrance signal, lifeline signal.